Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 14th. This week you start with the mice in the ring. So the mice in this is the Gilded Lenormand, and the mice can kind of represent like small issues or small things, and it can also represent like a little bit of overthinking. And we have the Seven of Cups right here as well. And the Seven of Cups is kind of like too many choices or options or overthinking something. The ring can, of course, represent marriage, and then you have the Page of Cups right here, which could be love. So you could be, I'm not saying that this has to be marriage at all. I think that this could just be a potential commitment that you could be making. And you could be like wondering if you should or not with that ring card, or you could be wondering like if you should actually just go for the commitment. And it just seems to me like there's a lot of thinking that could be going into something. Now this isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if it's love, because we still. Well, if you're watching this the day I publish it, which will be April 11th, Venus will be going direct on the 12th. So, even though this is for the week of the 14th, we'll still be in the Venus retrograde shadow. So there's really nothing wrong with kind of like thinking about it, processing it, and all this other stuff. Now, it does look like a pretty good love reading. I mean, you have the Lovers, the Four of Wands as well. So, and I don't think this is only about love, by the way, Leo, and we'll definitely talk about other stuff. But, if it is love, like I said, it looks pretty good, but it looks like there's just a lot of thinking going into something, or maybe you already have been thinking about something for a long time, and I don't know. I would just keep doing it, process it. I think that's fine. The Page of Cups, this. What I wanted to say is that this here, right here, could be your commitment to basically anything. So here's the thing: is I probably should have just shown you these two. Is that in Lenormand we read combinations, and the mice in the ring can represent like dishonesty or a past like dishonest connection. And so you have the King of Swords and the Ten of Swords. What's also kind of standing out to me is other people this week have had readings that kind of talk about like triggers from past connections. So I feel like this is a new connection intuitively, but you could be thinking about like a past person who wasn't open, because you have the King of Swords to the Lovers. The King of Swords isn't necessarily bad, but the problem with the King of Swords is he can be a little bit guarded or closed off, or he cannot be very open, right? And so if you are attracting new love, or if you're interested in a new person, you could be thinking a lot about past connections and kind of like how you were hurt in those past connections. I don't really have any good advice for you, because there isn't any good advice here. It's just saying that you are like processing it and thinking about it. Now, the advice that I do have is that you have learned from those past connections. So, I think it's safe for you to let go of your fears and your worries. And I think it would be safe for you to open up to something new, as long as you take your time. And so that's what I would do here. The Seven of Cups can also just represent a lot of options. I think this is something that people don't realize as well right now, is we're being given a whole new world of options. We have Neptune has moved into Aries, and Neptune can bring kind of like muddled thinking or unclear thinking to a certain area of our lives. But at the same time, it can bring some like creativity, some intuition, some insights, and some other things to whatever it is that we're thinking about. So these could be options in work and business and your health, in pretty much any area of your life. And I think that it's an amazing time for exploration. You literally end with the Page of Wands and the Two of Wands. These are two really, really good cards for exploring, for getting out into the world. I always say that with the Seven of Cups that variety is the spice of life. We have to experience variety with the Seven of Cups to get the benefits. We just have to be willing and open to explore. So that means we go and try new things. We don't make any huge commitments to anything, right? Which could be an issue here with the mice in the ring. We just play. We look at the life as play and having fun, and we just try something a little bit, right? Not too much, not too little, but just enough, and we see what happens. And I think that would be a good attitude for you right now. You show up as the Strength card, so Showing up as yourself puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading, which is great. So there could be a lot of success or growth coming in for you here. This could also just say, whenever you're present in a reading, it just kind of says you're in the reading. You're present for the reading. You're ready to get the benefits from the reading and all that other good stuff. And that's kind of what I feel with the Strength card. I think the Strength card is also encouraging you to remember what you have learned. The King of Swords is the card of knowledge and wisdom. So, you can take advantage of that King of Swords energy by looking at what you've learned through past experiences and applying it to new experiences, and I think that would be fine. With the Page of Cups, you have the Six of Cups. Definitely a new person. A lot of people read Six of Cups as a past person, but Six of Cups is innocence and nostalgia. It just represents thinking about the past. That's it. So a lot of you, could have a new person where you're definitely maybe worried about things that happened in the past based off those first two cards, also the King of Swords and the Ten of Swords. But you could be actually attracting a person who's very innocent or, who's more playful and fun and all that other good stuff. And like I said, if you are attracting a new person, just take your time. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Five of Pentacles. You're definitely healing from something here, I would say here with these four cards, where something happened in the past. The Five of Pentacles is feeling left out in the cold, and Five of Pentacles says do not call attention to your weaknesses. You need to focus on your strengths with the Strength card. So sure, maybe you were left out in the cold in the past, but it kind of would represent letting it go. With the Strength card, you have the Page of Cups. Yeah, so if you do want new love, then you're going to have to be strong with the Page of Cups. The other thing with the Page of Cups is, again, I don't really feel that this is love for all of you. I feel for some of you that you are committing to an opportunity. He has this fish in the cup here, and I always say that fish might not exist, but it doesn't matter if the fish exists or not. He needs to bring that fish down to earth. It could be part of his dream. It could just be an opportunity with the Seven of Cups, like in work or business. And I do feel that this reading is encouraging you to, commit to something, and you could be committing to something that has disappointed you before. And now I'm not saying that you are committing to the same thing. What I am saying is I feel like you are committing to the idea. So if you failed in business in the past, you could be committing to a new business. If you failed in work, same thing. You could be committing to new work. Same thing for love. We've all been disappointed in love, but if you've been disappointed in love, you could be committing to new love. So it feels like something that has disappointed you, but it's new, but it's old. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this luck and money card and this slowness and protection card. So this is pretty good. I feel that Leos do need to change their money luck or their financial luck. I feel a lot of Leos are going to be changing their financial luck through upgrading their skills or through upgrading the work that they do. It's kind of like a long-term theme for you, Leo, where your success is going to come through upgrades or updates, I would say. I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but with Pluto, in Aquarius, your opposite sign, I would just be looking to innovate, upgrade, change, do something new, do something different. And I know I always say this, but really it is your secret sauce right now, and that's what I would be taking advantage of. Things could be happening slower than you want, but again, the slowness could be actually protection with this turtle card that's showing up here as well. You have the Eight of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. He's walking away from these 8 cups, and he's walking into darkness. He has no clue what he is walking towards. He just knows that those 8 cups no longer serve him, and he needs to move in a new direction. So I feel a lot of you are just walking in new directions here. You're walking towards something new in your life in general, which I feel is great. Eight of Cups is a little scary, because these 8 cups do provide him with something. He is getting a result from those 8 cups, but they just no longer serve him. So he has to walk away. And I kind of feel some of you could be feeling that. These 2 cards here, this could literally be you and a new person. And so the King of Swords can be the type of person who's a little bit hard to read. I'm pretty sure in your mid-monthly reading for March, or it might have been your April reading actually, your monthly reading for April, that I said the same thing about the King of Swords. I think you had the King of Swords, and I said something about how you could be attracting a person who might be a little bit more reserved or a little bit more quiet, or maybe they're just not like a complete open book right away. And so I don't know. You could be dealing with that. King of Swords is usually like a more mature person, someone who's older than you. Again, they could be slow as well. They could be just taking their time and not like rushing. So definitely something to think about. But again, that doesn't have to be a problem. I mean, you have the Lovers and the Four of Wands. So this could be a good thing that's happening. On top of all that, I would definitely be using your knowledge and wisdom, like the things that you have learned, like applying the lessons that you've learned. I feel like that's very important for Leo. Next, you have the Queen of Wands, which could be you. Queen of Wands is about like needing to be bold and assertive. She has to move in the direction of the sun. She has this sunflower right here, and sunflowers point towards the sun. So she moves towards her like love, joy, happiness, peace. She moves in those directions. And that's what I would do with the Queen of Wands is like move in the direction of the sun, which is, anything that makes you feel happy or joyful or anything that you desire to do. I think, again, that a long-term theme for Leo, and if I were Leo, this is something I would pay very close attention to. It's like Leo has the things that society or your parents told you should do, and then there are the things that Leo actually wants to do. And I think it's time for Leo to stop like being a people pleaser, whether you realize it or not. Again, I'm a Pisces, so I'm very guilty of this as well, Leo, right? Where it's like I do things that I don't want to do, but I feel like I have to do them. Like I feel like it's an obligation almost because of other people. And I feel it's time for you to kind of like get away from that so that you can actually live a good life, right? And it's like sometimes I think Leo gets in trouble because they do things that they think they should do for other people, and then they find out later that like those people didn't really appreciate it or just didn't care. And I think that's the hard part of one of the hard parts of being a Leo is like having to like doing things for people and having this sense of honor, right? Like Leos have that sense of honor. Like if let's pretend I'm talking about you. Like you, Leo, could say, like, you think in your head, if I do this nice thing for this person, they're going to do something nice for me. But unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. And I think part of Leo's karma is to learn that they have to do things for themselves, right? With this Eight of Cups, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely some sort of change in direction. Eight of Cups, he is changing direction. He's walking away from something. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at the Seven Pentacles that he's grown, and he's saying, is it worth it or not? Is there something else that I should be doing with my life? And I feel that a lot of you are just ready for more growth, more experiences, more everything. With the King of Swords, you have the Emperor. There you go. Definitely could be attracting like an Emperor into your life. All the readings have kind of been love readings this week, which makes sense. Again, we have Venus going direct in Aries, which, or it will be moving into Aries. It's going to be in Pisces for a little while longer, but it will move back into Aries. And then, I think that will kind of kick off new connections. So it really doesn't surprise me that at this time we're seeing a lot of love readings because it makes perfect sense. I mean, Aries is the initiator. So with Venus moving back into Aries soon, of course, people will be starting new connections. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, this is about honesty. This is about like, brutal honesty. And, the Queen of Wands has to do that, right? She has to be brutally honest with herself. And she also maybe has to tell people, like, I can't help you right now, or, I have my own problems to deal with. I can't, pick up the slack for you, meaning other people in your life. So, it definitely seems to me like it's a time for you to be, like, brutally honest. That's all I'm getting. The Ace of Swords represents so many other things, but the only message I'm getting off of that card is, like, brutal honesty, right? And that includes to yourself. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this impulse card and this adventure card. Yes, the whole entire reading speaks of adventure. So I would definitely go on any adventures that kind of pop up. It is kind of like a little bit of an impulsive time. Again, we're going to have a ton of energy moving through Aries soon enough. And so Aries is kind of impulsive. And if you have any ideas or things that you want to accomplish or things that you want to do, I would try them a little bit. Now, I think the trick here is to, like, yeah, you should take advantage of the impulses that pop into your head, but, I wouldn't like overinvest. I think we are in a time where if we get an opportunity or something random pops up in our life, we should like put a little bit of energy into it, but no overinvesting, right? We should put a little energy in. If it works, great. Then we can put more energy in to whatever we're working on. If it doesn't work, great. Then we stop and we do something else. So I would balance that out. You have the Lovers, the Ten of Swords, and the Judgment card. Definitely new love, like we've already talked about, that could be coming in for you. It could be an air sign, or it could be like a person who has air in their chart, like Gemini, Ace of Swords, King of Swords. You have a lot of air. You have, basically everything here, so it could be any sign, but it could be a good connection. The Lovers can also say that you have a choice to make at this time, and there's definitely a choice. 8 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, this card, plus you have the 10 of Swords. And 10 of Swords says that something in your life is maybe dead, done, over with. Like it's time to move on and do something else in your life. So he's making this symbol right here with his hand, and that symbol represents like a blessing in disguise. So whatever he's been doing is kind of like dead, done, over with, and now he needs to get up off the ground and move on to something new. And we go down from here to the Page of Wands and the Two of Wands. So this would be about exploration. It's like maybe you need to, kind of leave behind what you've been doing for a long time and start playing around with something new. You have the Judgment card. Judgment can be a wake-up call. It can represent waking up to your purpose. Now we have the Lovers, and the Lovers, this is your higher self angel at the top of the Lovers. This is your higher self angel at the top of the Judgment card. So again, a lot of you could be being guided more intuitively or in your dreams or your daydreams, and it could be your higher self that is like calling you to something new. The 10 of Swords says something is dead, done, over with. These people are standing in these coffins, and the coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. So there's definitely like some sort of change or a transformation that you are undergoing. And I do feel this could be in work for a lot of you. I mean, I've said it to you before. I think that it's also time for Leos to like change and work. That doesn't mean you have to quit your job, but it does mean there could be like an opportunity for a raise or a promotion. There could be an opportunity to change direction or do something new or different. And I would be open to those changes. With the Lovers, you have the Five of Wands. Again, you're probably conflicted about love in general. We kind of talked about it at the beginning. If you were stabbed in the back by a person here in the past, or, if you had some negative experiences in love, then that could definitely be making you a little bit nervous to allow new love into your life. And I think the solution is to not rush. With the 10 of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about being resourceful. So again, instead of over-investing in anything that you're doing right now, the Queen of Pentacles, she would look at her resources. Like maybe she can do something that she wants to do with like less time, or maybe she can do something she wants to do with like less money. Or if she wants love, maybe she can start small instead of over-giving, right? She understands her resources. And you have the Seven of Pentacles right here. Seven of Pentacles is a card of analysis. He is looking at the resources that he has grown. And so going this way, she would be looking at new opportunities, and she would say, I can give this much to opportunities, but I'm going to keep some for myself. And that's what I would do with her. With the Judgment card, you have two cards, the Moon and the King of Wands. You have the King and Queen of Wands here, right here. So definitely could be a divine counterpart that's coming in for you. The Moon would represent needing to get clear. And with that Ace of Swords, again, brutal honesty. I would say, like, if you meet a person and you're interested, but you want to take your time, I would say that to the person. I would just be like, hey, I don't want to rush into anything here. So I feel this is saying that you need to be very clear with your intentions. I think it would help the most. At the end here, for the good stuff, you have this card that says nothing will come of this situation. You also have this card that says your hard work is paying off. I feel like if you're worried, I feel that nothing will come of this situation is saying that you need to let go of your worries and your fears. If you're fearing that something negative will happen or something bad will happen, I would let those fears go because they probably won't happen. Again, Ten of Swords can be a card of worrying a little bit, and so I would let that go. The hard work paying off card is great because if you've been doing a lot of work on pretty much anything, you could be getting the results. You have the Hangman, the Four of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Two of Wands. The Hangman is hanging upside down in Hangman mode. He is hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom, and he has gained enlightenment. I feel like I say this now to you like all the time recently. So a lot of you have gained a lot of answers, whether you realize it or not. I guess coming up in the good stuff, it's good because it could say that you're finally moving forward or you're finally getting off the tree. You have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands, of course, can represent marriage or marriage potential. So if you're looking for love, definitely this connection could lead to marriage or commitment. The Four of Wands, though, for you fixed signs, I feel this is really about freedom. The Four of Wands, it comes up when we might be completing something. You know, a lot of like older tarot books say that the Four of Wands is a card of completion because we could be like completing a project or a certain stage of our journey and going on to the next stage. And these people are celebrating on the other side of the Four of Wands. You know, one thing I say about the Four of Wands is that they've already been married. Like, yeah, it's a card of marriage, but it's like they have already gone through the process of marriage. So, you know, they're celebrating something. And so really, the Four of Wands is a card of a celebration, but it's like celebrating the completion of something. And a lot of you, I feel that, where it's like you could be celebrating something that you have completed. Next, you have the Page of Wands and the Two of Wands. Playfulness, exploration, all those things. Two of Wands is also a card of taking the lead, and you are a Leo, so you definitely could be taking the lead on something that you're working on or that you're creating. The Two of Wands is also about getting out into the world, which I think would be a great thing for you as well. With the Hangman, you have the Devil. See, I think that you've dealt with something toxic in the past as far as love is concerned. So, you know, again, you could be worried or nervous that a new person is toxic, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So that would kind of say that they're not toxic. And it would also just say, like, take your time. You know what to look out for. You have the knowledge and the wisdom, King of Swords. So as long as you're paying attention, you'll be fine. And that's what I would do there. With the Four of Wands, you have the Death card. We see a lot of death imagery right here. Ten of Swords, Judgment. And so death is a transformation, and you definitely could be transforming something or going through a transformation. You know, sometimes I feel that this is about changing your beliefs. This guy right here, he kind of looks like a pope, you know, and he's begging for his life. And the Death card can represent, you know, holding on to a belief or needing to transform a belief system. Neptune and Pisces, right? We have Neptune and Aries right now, but Neptune will retrograde back into Pisces this year. And it won't move back into Aries until like January 26th of next year. So a lot of you, Neptune and Pisces is the death of traditional belief. It is the death of, you know, something that you believed all along, your whole life for whatever reason. And a lot of you could be kind of like transforming beliefs or discovering new belief systems. And again, this could just be a good thing. It could really set you free with the Four of Wands. Here you go. With the Page of Wands and the Two of Wands, you have the Empress. So, divine counterparts right here. And the Two of Wands and the Page of Wands can say that you will be discovering this divine counterpart by exploring, by going on adventures, or, you know, getting out into public and meeting new people. You have this Cracked Cup card. I love this card. It says dissatisfaction with life, but I love this card because I think dissatisfaction is sometimes like the motivator we need to be successful. And so this could definitely be the motivation you need to move forward. You have the Seahorse. It says family matters on it. I don't know. You're a Leo. You're probably always thinking about family or something related to family. So definitely could be something family related, but probably a good thing. You have this Harp card. It says great happiness on it, and I would be focusing more on happiness and things that will bring you happiness because, again, I think this reading is really saying it. And, you know, really the time that we're in is saying it's time for Leos to do what makes them happy on their own, you know, and that's what I would focus on here. You have this Tortoise card. It says slowly but surely getting ahead. So there you go. You could be making progress. You had the Turtle as well. It says slowness and protection. So if something has been slow, you know, there could be a good reason for it. It could be that it had to be slow so that you could be protected and so that you could actually be successful. You have this Bow. It says you are highly thought of. Yes, Leo, I think that you are highly thought of at this time. But pretty straightforward reading. Looks pretty good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.